Hey everyone, welcome to our first podcast ever, the Spread the Love podcast. My name is Julieta Silva and we are here with three other hosts.
Hi, my name is Paris. I am the president of Spread the Love and I'm so excited for you to be here.
Hi, I'm Zaina. I'm the vice president and I'm so happy this is happening finally.
Hi, I'm Snigdha and I'm the outreach officer of STL, and we are so honored that you are our first guest on our podcast.
We are leaders of a youth-led organization called Spread the Love, where we create encouraging letters, notes, and videos for children with special needs to read and enjoy. We will be interviewing Lisi, a parent who received some letters from our team. So, Lisi, can you please tell us a little about yourself and your family?
Yeah, sure. Well, first I want to thank you guys for inviting me on here. My name is Lisi. I have a 5-year-old daughter. I have a 3-year-old son who happens to have Down syndrome, and I have a almost 11-month-old boy also. My husband and I met almost 10 years ago. That's when we started dating, and we got married 7 years ago, and the rest is history.
That is very cute. That is very cute. So, first of all, we would like to ask, how was your child's reaction to opening the letters that our team sent?
Oh gosh, well, I think that's just a great idea what you guys have come up with. He's, like I said, 3 years old, so I opened it for him and I read it for him. He's still pretty nonverbal, other than a few words that he can say, but he expresses himself with his face and his body motions and stuff. So he just saw the picture and heard Team Beach and the little picture you guys put, and he has a great memory for dances, and so he just started doing the dances, and I knew he was trying to like sing it, and it was really cute to see that reaction from him.
So nice. Because we try to get the letters personalized to
yes, and I think
that they have that kind of reaction.
Yeah, I think that's so great, because there's one thing you can send out a letter, and you could still make it semi-personal and make the person feel, like they're being appreciated, but just that little touch of you guys asking some of the things that he likes, that makes a huge difference, and it makes it really, really hit straight to the heart for a mother, obviously, and for him. So I can imagine even older kids receiving those types of letters that understand a little more what's going on. That probably really makes them feel extra special. So I think that's a great idea.
All right, so Paris, do you want to lead into your question?
Yes. Hi, Miss Lisi. So our first question would be a description of Leo's diagnosis and how it has affected your family.
Okay, yeah. So Leo's born in 2017, and I actually received his diagnosis prenatally, October 2016, at my 11-week screening. And the doctor said that she thought it was possible that he had trisomy 21, also more commonly known as Down syndrome. And so we did blood work, because fortunately now it's as easy as doing blood work. You don't have to be so invasive. And 2 weeks later, we found out, yes, 99% sure that possibility of him having Down syndrome. And it was hard. There's definitely, for every parent prenatally, and even if they receive a diagnosis after birth, it's hard, the acceptance, the journey you go on. There's definitely denial in there from everyone, really. Probably the one that took it the best was my husband, because he's a doctor, and he has, I think, his experience with kids with Down syndrome showed him that it's not a sad diagnosis. It's not the end of your life or the end of that child's life. There's so many possibilities and so much happiness that can be brought out. And he's the one that kind of guided me and my family, because everyone just really had a hard time, especially because I was 24 when I received the diagnosis. And you think a young mother doesn't have that risk, but it's actually, the older you are, the more risk you have of having a kid. The higher risk you are of having a child with Down syndrome. But believe it or not, a lot of young mothers do have kids with Down syndrome, and So that was that misconception there that threw us off for, a roller coaster. But we got through it together as a family. I started looking into social media, which helped a ton. And that's kind of how my journey kept going on until I created my own advocate Instagram account to help other parents who are in the shoe that I was in when I first received the diagnosis.
Something that I would very much like to remark, or just like that stands out to me of like everyone here, like all of the parents that we've been in contact with, including you, is just that you took it upon yourself to just like figure out social media, like, and use it to your advantage, so like find out advocate groups and just like tips and tricks. I must imagine like you going through like Instagrams at maybe 4 a.m. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even I had an Instagram just to share photos of the kids with my daughter before that, and that was it. Other than that, I didn't know anything about Instagram.
I think it's pretty amazing that you already have struggles as it is to raise a kid who's part of the special needs community, but taking it upon yourself to help out other people with what you've learned, like, I think that's pretty incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. We're all in this together. We like to say we're a little tribe.
Yeah.
It's awesome that you did that, because we wouldn't have been able to find you or other families, without you taking that big step. So honestly, it's really amazing. So the next question is, what are some challenges that your family has had to face, just medical wise? So that could be anything. So
yeah, definitely the biggest one, which we also found out prenatally, was that he has a congenital heart defect. It's called tetralogy of Fallot. Not going to go into the details because I'll be honest with you, even after 3 years, I still don't know everything very well. But it's basically 4 issues that the heart has. Some of it is correctable by surgery. Some of it is kind of just he's going to have it the rest of his life, and it's okay. Thanks to modern medicine, it's manageable. He can have a long life. It won't decrease his because we know, and that's such a great thing about the medicine that we have today and the technology and knowledge that we have today. That being said, so we knew prenatally, and the big question was, when he was born, would he need open heart surgery right away, or would we be able to postpone it a little bit so he can get bigger? And fortunately, it was the latter. He was almost 4 months when he had his first open heart surgery. Really, probably the hardest day and week of, I would say, mine and my husband's and my family's life, just because the thought of a little baby, going into that surgery. Yeah, the tetralogy of Fallot, he had open heart surgery almost 4 months, and he was in the hospital, fortunately, a week only. There were a lot of setbacks, but he did. It's amazing what these little kids, these babies, newborns even, how well they recuperate and fight. And it was humbling to see that whole situation. But other than that, he will need surgery again. Hopefully, again, thanks to modern medicine, it shouldn't have to be open heart. We found out the last cardiology visit we had, it'll probably be through the veins, which is a whole different ball game. And that's awesome. And after that, he should be good to go. He can do whatever he wants. It's not going to hold him back. All it'll do is, if he ever gets in a fight, he just shows his scar. He shows some muscle with the scars and show how strong he is.
That's amazing.
Miss Lisi, I just want to say Leo is so strong, and everything that he has done so far is a part of his story, and he's going to have a really unique story, and that's very good for him to be able to share his story whenever he gets older. Yeah. So our third question would be, we know you have 3 children, and Leo's addition to the family, how has that affected your parenting style and your dynamic?
Well, believe it or not, the first question I asked the doctor when we found out that his diagnosis was Down syndrome was, will this affect my daughter when she has her kids. And that was like my first thought was to her, because, you know, when you have a physical child, that's the first thing you're thinking about, her future and stuff. And then later I also thought about his future and I was worried about how it would affect her. Would she think I was taking too much time for him with all, you know, therapies and surgery he needed, doctors? And I was definitely worried about that. But the moment that we brought him home, I knew that all my worries vanished, because they were like two magnets. He would stare at her, she would grab him and just like rock him like her own little toy baby, obviously with supervision, because she was two at the time. But oh God, I've loved so much to watch their relationship grow. And I'm telling you, I think my biggest problem is going to be what she asked me. She told me the other day, she goes, Mommy, because that's what she calls me, what happens when I get married and I live in another house? Where's Leo gonna go? Is he gonna go with me?
That is.
I was like, sure, you can have a room for him.
Oh.
So yeah, that's just, and I've heard and I'm seeing it, that a lot of older siblings and younger siblings become better people because they have more patience, they have a better understanding, they realize like everyone is different, and that's what makes us unique and special and make the world a better place. And so it makes her a better person.
So
true. And then the younger one, I mean, he's still little, and I think I'm gonna have the same problem about when they have to separate, for sure, because right now Leo has taken on the role of big brother. And a silver lining of the pandemic is that I've been able to see him mature so much as a big brother and take on some minor, you know, but try to take on responsibilities like feeding him or pretending to bathe him. And it's been the sweetest thing to witness.
So
would
nice.
you say that your other kids have, or maybe you have become more empathetic towards the community just because you weren't in it before and now you've been immersed into it?
Yes, definitely. And not just Down syndrome, any family who has a kid with special needs. Empathy is definitely the word I would use to how I've felt.
Yes.
I can.
Miss Lisi, like I have a sibling as well. He has ADHD, and I can definitely say that his story has allowed me to be more understanding of other children. So I think this will have a huge impact on your daughter as well. So
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading that. That was one of the reasons you guys you founded this organization, and I think that's wonderful. Empathy is when you put yourself in someone's shoes because you're personally witnessing it and personally going through it. It's kind of like a battery. It gives you energy to, you know, advocate for them and for others that might be in the same position.
Right.
And it's really nice when we reach out to these families, and once they get the letters, they send us pictures of them with their kids, and it just like shows us that what we're doing is worth it, and then it puts a smile on all these kids' faces, and that's just another reason to keep going.
For sure. Kids and parents.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
And our next question was, we just wanted to ask, are there any challenges that your family has had to face with Leo, socially or publicly? Like, has there been any encounters like that might have been like good encounters or bad encounters?
Yeah, but fortunately everyone has been so welcoming with him, and I think it also helps having an Instagram where I'm sharing him with everybody, because, you know, he comes home and he's his funny little self, and you wouldn't see that unless someone was there or if you're sharing it. So fortunately, for the most part, I think everything's been so positive. The world is becoming a place where people are realizing that differences make you unique. Differences make the world a better place, and so everyone's embracing it. And it's literally a perfect time right now. Getting to a perfect time, because there's always need for more work, but we're definitely trending towards that path and that acceptance. And so I'm fortunate in that part. Definitely there's still, like I said, need for work. more inclusiveness. When I was looking for schools for him, it was more a matter of me seeing if a school would do me the favor of accepting him into the school. And I actually had one, I don't want to say it was a bad experience, because I understand, you know, I was there once. I didn't know what I know now. And the school told me that he would hold the other kids back. And I was more like, you know, how do you know that? You don't know him. You're literally just telling me that because of the 2 words that I told you, Down syndrome. And so,
Right.
and that's fine. I understand some schools don't have, because you do need a little more resources. You need someone, not even therapy, but just maybe an extra person or something. So I get that schools don't have the resource, but I think if we can start building schools from the bottom up with that in mind, to be more inclusive, I think that would make a world of a difference. And I can't tell you, the school that finally did accept him, which is where my daughter went, this is like a pre-K3, pre-K2 school. Oh, they didn't hesitate to bring him in. They knew already, because they had experiences with kids with Down syndrome, and they see that they actually help the other kids, just like the other kids help them. And it's a two-way street, which is great. If people can realize that, then they probably would have the incentive to create these schools with that in their mind.
That is
And then,
amazing.
sorry, one more thing, the pity. Because I had pity for myself, and I know people had pity for us and for Leo, and that's okay. Again, if you don't know, that's your first gut instinct, because that's just the way you were raised to think. And I would say that the pity, there's nothing to have pity for, or anyone to have pity for. It's just, and even my family, because I could tell they had pity for us, and I had pity for myself. But as we got to know Leo and saw him and went into social media and saw other kids and adults with Down syndrome, we realized there was nothing to pity. The hashtag nothing down about it. It's because it is what it's the truth.
Yes, I completely agree. You actually, I guess you answered the next question, that was, what are some daily life actions that society could do to not make your child feel a bit left out or not included enough? So you already mentioned the schools, the inclusion, the pity. Is there anything else that you would like to say that maybe kids like us, maybe not kids, but like teenagers like us?
Well, yeah, no, not even teenagers. I think, and I'm trying to do it with my daughter now. I think exposing younger kids to all the different types of people, whether it be culture, whether it be the way you look, whether it be a disability, like, you know, it's all of that is part of the world. And I think exposing kids from the beginning to all the different types of wonderful people out there will start to make it normal, more mainstream, so that when they're older, they already have that built in them. And it's like, yeah, they acknowledge that the world is made up of many different people, and everybody brings something wonderful to the world, and they'll embrace it. And that way you don't really have to worry about teaching an older kid. Like I wasn't exposed to that as a kid, and I don't blame anyone for it. It's just not the way. It was just easy. I went about my daily life. I didn't go out above and beyond. And I think in the palm of our hands right now, we have this tool, social media, that allows us easily to start teaching our kids young that kids are different, people are different, adults are different, and it's a blessing, and it makes the world a better place.
And I know personally, at least, I know growing up, I didn't have I'm still grown up, but like when I was in elementary school and middle school, I wouldn't have friends that were like part of the special needs community, or they'd be like a separate group from the school. But when I got to high school, I did, I'm in 10th grade and 9th grade, we have choir, and we include the special needs community in our choir. So we had people who had Down syndrome and people who had other special needs be part of our choir, and we would interact with them on a daily basis. And it showed me so much more, because when you interact with them more, you realize like different things and how they're just like everyone else. And you know, so I Like there was this one girl, and she had Down syndrome, and I remember she would, every time we had choir, you can pick where you sit. She'd come sit next to me every single day, and we'd have the most wonderful conversation, even though like we wouldn't listen to the choir teacher half the time. But that was like definitely one of the highlights of my choir year last year.
That was
Yeah,
amazing.
that's awesome.
My personal experience like with the special needs community is that my mom, the one that dropped me off this oatmeal, she is actually a pediatrician and neonatologist. So she's very in close with like, right now I'm in Mexico, so just so you know. So
Nice.
yes, so she works in like she works receiving kids and working with kids, right? And then right now, I think like 2 years ago, there was this thing where she's working with my aunt, where like she's working with autistic children in the spectrum, like all kinds of the spectrum from ages 3 to 7, because apparently in the Hispanic community, I was not aware of that, but like the autism levels are high. So apparently like basically what my mom and like my aunt do is basically like work together, like to like help them like incorporate like language, social skills, and like basically like help them out, and just like in all of the levels possibles, you could say. So before that, I was not exposed. I come from a very small community. It's literally the border city in South Texas. So like it's a very pretty much what we call rancho. So like it's like not a lot of people, everyone knows each other. So I was not aware that like we had a lot of like autistic children in the place that
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so it was like, wow, after my mom, because that happened like 2 years ago. So after everything started coming up, like the entire plan, I was able to like connect, like, and just help her out sometimes. Like, of course, not with the children personally, because I'm not trained, but like, you know, like the car register or like clean something up or something. But actually, like I was able to meet like some of the kids that my mom is working on, like they're really, really like, honestly, they're like Nikta said, like they just are people, and like you said, and like there's nothing to pity, like it just happens. And like the thing is, you have to like accommodate to like others, and just like enjoy the moment with them, you could say.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's so important that everyone has to realize that, what you just said, because there is the stigma about it, and that's where the pity stems from. That's where all these negative feelings towards the community have come from, and it's that stigma that surrounds it. So going forward, and that's what we're trying to do too, is just make everyone feel more inclusive towards the community, and just immerse themselves too, just like you were, even without having the one-on-one connection like you have. So it's really important that we need to do that.
So, Miss Lisi, I remember you said earlier that it's very important for us to embrace our differences. And we know today, like, our society is a bit divided right now with all the race wars and political disparities. Do you think that there was ever a time that you had to shield Leo from what is in our society today?
No, but that's mainly because of his age. He's in that nice little ignorance is bliss stage right now, where just music is life.
How we miss that, don't we?
Yes, sometimes yes. But no, I haven't had to yet, fortunately. Although I'm sure, and I can't even tell you how I would react yet, because I think it's not until it happens that I won't really know how to. I don't think I would shield him, honestly. My husband and I are always of the mindset of being upfront, even with my daughter, who right now is starting to ask why he's a little, for his age, why he doesn't talk yet, why he doesn't do certain things. And so we've told her that she knows the term Down syndrome. We have books we're reading her. And again, I think all of that is so important to start teaching them young, reading them books, showing them the social media. Maybe not the news yet because she's 5 years old and no one needs to do that to 5 years. She's not going to understand that yet, but it starts from somewhere. You know, it's not just one day you click and like you start, they know something. It starts building up and it's a slow progression, but it starts as young as, I think she's probably 5 years old, 4 years old when they start to understand a little more. So I'll definitely see what happens with Leo as he gets older. I'm sure we're gonna have our bad encounters, and I'll be upfront with him and I'll tell him, you know, he will know he has Down syndrome. He will know it's just a part of him. It's not who he is, and that's how we'll raise him and our other kids.
And something else I wanted to ask, like, especially now with the pandemic and all, has parenting been, I mean, I assume it's been different. You want to elaborate on that a little?
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely harder. Definitely requires a lot more patience. I also sometimes feel bad because I know he's a very social kid and I know he misses that social interaction with other kids. Fortunately, we come from a really big family. He has over 10 cousins, all under 7 years old. So it's nice to have that, but I still know that he misses that interaction. And I think it kind of made him regress a little. That plus the new baby made him regress a little. So it's definitely required more patience on my part.
I think we could all use
yeah.
a bit more people interaction.
I mean, I know later on I'm gonna miss that quality time that we've had, and me being able to see him interact more with his siblings.
So, Miss Lisi, to other young parents out there, other parents with children with a special need, and they're afraid to like allow their child into the real world, do you have any message for them or any advice to embrace their child's characteristics?
For starters, take your time because everyone has that acceptance journey that they need to go on. I don't know how long it is, but start off with using what we have. And social media is a huge tool. Go out there on your phone, computer, so virtually go out there and explore. And you'll find so much support, so much love, so much acceptance already out there, just waiting to see what your child has to offer. And I think that's the most important thing, is to know that we're living in a world right now where we have so much positive response and positive support and positive reactions. And of course you're going to get the negative reactions. We'll never get rid of it, but we can start making it smaller, making people realize that there's just huge potential and so much that these kids with special needs have to offer in ways that we couldn't even think about until we found ourselves in these shoes, or we went out there and explored and saw a little bit more and experienced it, just like you guys were telling me you have.
Yes.
So I hear you have a blog. So could you tell us a little about it?
Yes, the blog I recently started. I think I couldn't thank the pandemic for that. It got to the point that some of the posts I started writing were very long, and on Instagram not a lot of people will read a long post, and I just kind of wanted to put it all in another area where if someone else is having that, and by the way, things that I write about, it's not that I invented it or came up with it. It's things that all parents, even parents with typical kids, experience. And so I don't even know if I've had a handful of people tell me that it's helped them. And that's enough to me, even if I could just help one person with that blog.
That is amazing. I really love that initiative. That
it's awesome.
Willing to share, you know?
Yeah.
So Lisi, would you like to give your Instagram handle, your blog URL, or anything that you consider that you could share with the world?
Yes, of course. So my Instagram is @extraluckyworld. OUR extra lucky world. The pun is in the extra because, as you know, Down syndrome, trisomy 21 tri is an extra chromosome, the 21st chromosome, which is so that little pun there. And then lucky world because Leo has definitely showed us that differences in our world is what make us lucky to be living in it. And then the blog is our extra lucky world .wix site wixsite.com/blog.
So of course, everyone, just check her out, and also remember to follow her Instagram and our Instagram as well. Spread the love with a period in between art. Spread the love. So yeah, and yeah, just if you are a parent and are interested in working with us, don't hesitate to hit our DMs. So yeah, just wishing everyone a very happy day. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and thank you. See you next time.